Hey y'all, Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football here in Mineral Wells, Texas at Ram Stadium with a very special Thursday night state semifinal instant reaction. And we're going to go across the state. We had 7 games played tonight, state semifinals, 7 tickets punched to AT&T Stadium next week for the UIL state championships. Let's take a look at all 7 games and kind of get some quick thoughts on each of them. Let's start over in Frisco at the Ford Center where Malakoff keeps their 31-game winning streak alive, the state's longest winning streak alive, but it was not easy, folks. The Tigers survived against Paradise 27-19. It looked bleak for Malakoff, the defending state champs. Paradise took the opening second half. Paradise led 13-7 at the half. Took the opening second half kickoff, went on a 9.5-minute drive, led 19-7. Looked bleak for Malakoff. Malakoff scores in the first play of the fourth quarter to make it 19-14. Paradise in the ensuing possession throws a pick six. Malakoff takes the lead. And they hang on, 27-19. Gritty performance from the Tigers, and what a job by Coach Joe Koch in Paradise. No one predicted them to even get to this point, much less hang around with the defending state champions who have the longest winning streak in the state. Congrats to Paradise, great season. But the Malakoff Tigers are moving on to the state championship game. Who will they play? Folks, the Columbus Cardinals are here. They're playing for their first state championship. They destroy Edna 49-6. This game was over in the first quarter. Columbus led 42-0 at the half. It was a comedy of errors for Edna early in the game. Columbus takes the opening kickoff, scores. Edna has a bad snap on the first play of the game. Backed up, they punt. Short field, Columbus scores 14-0. Edna fumbles. Columbus scores again. 5 minutes in the game, it's 21-0. It's over. Grayson Rignan scores 4 touchdowns. Adam Schobel, the Mr. Texas Football finalist, has a huge game. Columbus turns it down in the second half, and they just get out of there with the win. 49-6. Dominant performance from Columbus. So next week, Thursday night, the finale Thursday night should be a great one between Malakoff and Columbus. It's the matchup we've all been waiting for. Should be a fun one to close out the day on Thursday at AT&T Stadium. Moving down to 3A Division II. Now, the first semifinals tomorrow, Gunner and Wall. I'll be at that game. We'll talk about that in a minute. But down at Randall Reed Stadium in New Caney, Woodville rallies for a 28-21 win over Todd Haven in a real nip-and-tuck ball game. The Woodville Eagles rally late to get to this their first ever state championship game. Luke Babin, Tavion Hunter, Woodville's offense gets it done late. This was a Todd Haven kind of drug Woodville into their kind of game, very similar to last year's semifinal game where Todd Haven drug Dangerfield into this kind of mud fight that they're so good at. And David Lucio's ball club just drags you into the deep water and just doesn't let you out. They suffocate you with defense. They got a 250-pound running back that they can kind of just beat on you after a while. Woodville hung in there. They were up for the fight. And a program that had been playing football for almost 100 years that had never been past the second round of the playoffs before this year is in the state championship game. Congrats to Ty Robinson and the Woodville Eagles. They are headed to AT&T Stadium. They will play next week at 3 o'clock. They'll play the winner on Thursday of tomorrow's Gunner and Wall game. What a performance from Woodville. What an unbelievable thing for that community. They are in the state championship for the first time. Both of our 2A state championship games are set. Let's start right here in Mineral Wells where the Stamford Bulldogs hold off a late Hamilton rally 28-13 in a battle of 14-0 teams. Stamford jumped out to a 21-0 lead in the third quarter. Looked like they were cruising, but they just couldn't put Hamilton away. They couldn't deliver the knockout punch. Stamford's team speed gave Hamilton a lot of trouble, but Hamilton just kind of hung in. They get a 70-yard touchdown reception from Pierce Summers, their big wide receiver. All of a sudden, early fourth quarter, it's 21-7, and you're like, if Hamilton gets a stop here, we got a ball game. Well, guess what? Hamilton, with 5 minutes left in the game, scores to make it 21-13. Stamford did block the extra point, so it's 21-13. Hamilton tries an onside kick, doesn't get it. They need a stop. They have 3 timeouts. They just couldn't get a stop. Stamford kind of hung onto the ball, drove down, scored. With about a minute and a half left to put the game away, Christian Duran scored on a touchdown run. Stamford walks out of Mineral Wells, the 28-13 win. Wayne Hutchinson, in his second stint as the head coach at Stamford, has the Bulldogs back in the state championship game. Congrats to Stamford. They've been dominant all year. They've been the best team, in my opinion, in 2A Division I. They got a fight from Hamilton. Hamilton's 14-0 for a reason. Great ball club. but Stamford escapes here with a 28-13 win to take on the Ganado Indians. Ganado knocks off Cinderella Walken 35-14. Coach Josh Irvin's ball club was the preseason #1 team in the state. They played in a state semifinal last year, losing to Terry Bussey and the Timpson Bears. Ganado comes back this year. They've only lost one game. They're undefeated when quarterback Bryce Ullman plays. They took care of the Cinderella Walken 35-14 in very impressive fashion. Ganado headed to their first ever state championship game to take on Stamford. That should be a heck of a ball game. 15-0 versus 14-1. The early game on Thursday at 11 a.m. So we're gonna get the Thursday slate started with a bang. Thursday is gonna be full of bangers at the state championships. Congrats to the Ganado Indians coming up from South Texas to play in the state championship game. Finally, in 2A Division II, Muenster, led by Case and Carney, another dominant performance. The Hornets knock off previously unbeaten Groover 49-26. And to be honest, folks, the game probably wasn't that close. Muenster was dominant from the beginning. They raced out to a big lead. Groover did some window dressing late to make it look a little bit better, but make no mistake about it, Muenster was the dominant team in this game. They advanced to the state championship game with a 13-2 record. Their two losses are to 3A opponents in Holiday, who played in the third round of the 3A Division II playoffs, and Pottsboro, a 3A Division I playoff team. So congrats to the Muenster Hornets. They will take on in the state championship game on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, the Shiner Comanches. Shiner holds off Bremond 41-33 in a real shootout. Shiner plays a lot of defensive battles. Their defense hadn't been touched up all year. Bremond hit them good for 33 points. It's the most points Shiner's given up all year. But behind quarterback Carson Shute, the Shiner Comanches have advanced to the state championship game. They hold off a late Bremond rally to win 41-33. The Shiner Comanches back in the state championship game for the first time since 2021. They are going to take on the Muenster Hornets in what should be a great ball game. We're going to get beer versus cheese in the state championship game. The Shiner Comanches and the Muenster Hornets. It should be a good one to open the day on Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the evening after the 6-man games wrap up. So that's all from here in Mineral Wells. I'm headed west on I-20 to Abilene, where I got a doubleheader tomorrow, 4 o'clock at Abilene Christian. We got Wall versus Gunner. Then at 7:30 at Shotwell Stadium. We got Canyon, West Plains, and Salinas. So stay with TexasFootball.com for the best coverage of Texas high school football anywhere, and bookmark it, TexasFootball.com/state, going live on Sunday.